Oh man, we're live. I should probably do the intro song first, shouldn't I?
Doon, 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 doon,
There's the intro
doon.
song. Where is it? Where is it? I'm not here. You can't see me. You can't see me. There
Cannot
we
see
go.
us.
Hi. I haven't talked about football in a very long time with people. I've mostly been talking football with myself in a boundless void. It's a line that goes around the world from me to me, and we talk about football. And it's sad. Times are rough in Chicago. I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about it. I know the scoop of what's going to happen this year. Everyone's so excited. Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams. I actually bought his jersey. And then before people roast me for getting his jersey, I know what's going to happen. What up, Botrix? I know what's going to happen. People are going to be like, oh, you got the Caleb jersey because you're a Caleb tramp stamper. Let me remind you, someone on our network bought a jersey of a quarterback who doesn't even play for the team anymore, and he bought it as a jersey for the team that he went to go play for. So you want to call me the tramp stamper? Yeah, I'm not gonna hold punches. It's not like I'm talking behind someone's back. This is all our channel. It's the same channel. Anyway, doesn't matter though because we're going 6-11, baby. But the Cubs are looking pretty good. Kind of in a bit of a rough patch right now, but that Pete Crow Armstrong can really play. Wish he could pitch too, because the pitching is kind of falling apart. The White Sox are doing a little better this year than last year. The Bulls just traded Lonzo Ball. The Blackhawks drafted a hockey player to play hockey for them. I don't know exactly who they drafted, but I'm pretty sure he's white. The Chicago Fire, and then the Bears. That's what I got. Anyway, I'm going to be joined by Noah, and we're just going to talk about football.
Howdy, folks.
How's it going, Noah? Welcome to the show.
Glad to be back. We are probably the only two people in the middle of June in Chicago who are more concerned with the Bears than the Cubs, but that's okay with me. I am fine to die on this island. That is totally cool with me.
Well, I'm not concerned yet. Season hasn't started. If I was concerned now, I don't know what I don't know how it would function.
You would be like me and reading articles from mini camps and trying to make projections on who's starting at right guard. That's what I'm doing on June 28th. So
who's going to be starting at right guard for the Bears? I think it's going to be Jonah Jackson. No,
it's got to be Jonah. Yeah, I would hope so. You know, he paid him all that money.
He's pretty good.
He's solid.
He's not like awesome.
I mean, it's one of the biggest scheme fit contract things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I watched 30 seconds and I'm depressed. That's how I felt
Chicago
lot
sports.
after watching like 3 hours for Bears games. Yeah, I used to try to be the positive Bears fan. I really did. I tried. I put all I could into it. But then Washington happened, and I'm jaded for life.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I still can't believe how many fans back the Bulls front office.
The combination of the draft last night, it's a tough ownership group, is what I will say. It is a tough ownership group.
Yeah, I
to be a
mean,
fan of.
to own the White Sox and the Bulls,
it's difficult for that to be your ownership group. That is
Yeah.
not the and particularly when they know like they're kind of going to make money no matter what because Bulls and they just a lot of their moves have seemed real lateral the last couple of years. You know.
Yeah, and also like I'm not going to pretend to know about the Hawks draft. I like Connor Bedard, and I don't think I can name any other players. If I'm being completely honest.
Patrick Kane is back. That's kind of cool. Not with
Is he back
Chicago.
with the Blackhawks?
No, not with the Blackhawks. With Winnipeg, I believe, but he's back in the NHL.
Yeah, I know he's in the NHL.
Yeah, well, he was out for a couple of years with long-term COVID, so it's just kind of cool to see him get back in the league. I know Chicago loves Patrick Kane,
he did some cool stuff for us.
It was great. It was a great Hawk. It was a great Hawk.
Great. Yeah, 3 championships. He had a dynasty going. That was cool. That was like the most winning I've seen my team do besides Ohio State.
It was at that time you were the perfect amount of Blackhawks fan to my level of Kings fandom. We both just knew enough to be able to kind of talk about what we're talking about.
I'm just a fair weather hockey fan, just full stop. Blackhawks have a ton of solid prospects coming up, but we never know. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
You're permanently saying about that in hockey until those prospects start to pan out, they are just prospects.
Yeah, but hey, Connor Bedard's pretty good.
Prospects have been killing the game this year, both former and current prospects of theirs. Connor
Bedard's pretty good.
Connor Bedard.
That's all I know. Anyhow, back to football. We never addressed the left tackle position.
Correct.
We did not do that.
Correct.
Now I like the Boise State guy that we drafted. Not Boise State.
Oh no, NC State. Not NC State.
No, what was he? Boston College. Oh, I'm
BC.
so bad at this.
BC.
Yeah.
BC. Yeah, the big kid.
But like, is he gonna even beat out Braxton Jones?
I think if he does, you're concerned.
Why would I be concerned?
I'll tell you why.
Because I already know Braxton Jones isn't good.
No, that's the thing. But Braxton Jones, and you and I probably have had screaming arguments about it. Like, I just don't think he's good. He's going to get like a $20 million contract next year.
You're confused. I never thought he was good either.
Fair. No,
you're arguing with no one. Like, you're not arguing.
Fair. Regardless, he is a guy who's been in the league for a couple of years now and is like right in that like average to maybe a little below average, but should be able to plug and play as your tackle on a year-to-year basis. I think that's his ceiling. I think he's going to get paid a crazy contract here, like similar to Dan Moore this year with the Steelers. We all kind of went, whoa. Point being, you drafted a guy as an offensive tackle almost exclusively for his physical body. He didn't have a ton of reps in college. I think he switched position from left to right side as well. So you're drafting, and this is a thing we see in the NFL a lot. You draft NFL, particularly with offensive linemen. You draft guys that are physical bodies, knowing damn well they are physical bodies who need time to develop, and they end up starting week 4, and people call them a bust. It's very, very, very similar situation to what happened with the Kings and with the Chiefs last year and Sumailata. They took an offensive tackle out of, I want to say it was BYU. It was a physical specimen, and then I think it was like week 6 or 8, you're saying, hey, go protect Patrick Mahomes. He wasn't ready for it, and then we saw what happened later in the year. So if you're taking a guy out of BC and going, man, he's like 6'8", 330. If we can get our hands on this piece of clay and mold it into a player, great. The odds you're able to mold that guy into a player by week 1, highly unlikely. And I'm just of the belief, particularly when it comes to linemen, you benefit so much more from being able to learn from the guys in your room than just going out there and getting bull rushed by an 8-year vet and being like, I don't know how to stop this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but hear me out. His name is Ozzy Trapillo.
It is. It's a great offensive line.
That's a really good.
Like he's going to go get like a deep dish pizza and a 6-pack of beer after the game, and it's gonna be spotted cows. Like he's gonna be a Chicago guy. Even to my point, don't throw him out and not ready like his confidence.
3 years from now, he could absolutely be a plus starter.
Right, but the Bears drafted a developmental lineman and then threw him into the firelight, which it's a little bit different when
Well, it wasn't their fault. They had to. I mean,
sure,
there were
right,
injuries on the line.
and then he didn't perform great. He was okay. He wasn't
Oh,
great.
he was pretty bad. The Yale kid was pretty bad.
Yeah, but again, so it's the same concept but when you drafted the Yale kid, you were going, oh, we're doing this for his body. One of my favorite tackle prospects of the year, I forget who ended up taking him, but there was a kid from William and Mary, and it was like everyone was talking about him, like, oh, once this kid gets in a good system and gets some weight on him and blah, 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 he can be a good player. But if you put these guys out there before they're ready for no other reason than they're a body, it can really mentally affect a player, particularly a young one. And I know I think it's something we as fans maybe don't quite comprehend. Like, okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me you're 6'8", 330, and know that you can move these giant physical men, but you're like mentally getting broken because you took a bad rep in camp. Like, yes, that is quite literally what can happen.
I'll never forget the kid from Yale just coming in against the Vikings on Monday Night Football and just getting abused.
Right, like it's a tough ask. Hey, you're gonna start on Monday night against a really good defense. Like, can I do the Sunday 4:30?
Can I do the not that?
Totally. I'm the same way with I'm like baseball pitchers. Let them debut against like terrible teams.
Or just throw them right into the fire.
Exactly. So I think he moves a lot better. I went back and rewatched some of his tape. He moves a lot better than I think he did. But I think there's a reason he was there when he was there. There's a reason he wasn't taken in the first round. It was also a really good offensive line class. Could he be ready to step in? Yeah. Could he step in and take over for Braxton by midseason? He absolutely has the physical ability to. I don't know if he'll get there. And that's just something that you don't know until you get into it. You know what I mean?
We'll see how he holds up. We'll see if he can hold up a little bit. We'll see how he can hold up even a little bit against Rashawn Gary. And against fucking Hutchinson and whoever the Vikings have. They have like a million. They have like a million guys.
Turner and all of them. Right.
Yeah.
But again, we're in June. Pads aren't even on yet. You really can't know any. You can kind of get an idea about some position groups. You really can't get an idea about your linemen right now.
They want to be a serious threat. Trade for Hendrickson from the Bengals. Let's see how many turnovers the Bears will have. The O-line will shore up in the next 2 years. 2 years, yeah, but shore up. First of all, I want to address that. Yeah, the O-line might shore up in the next 2 years. That's 2 years too long. If we want to protect Caleb, we want to have a better O-line right now. And they did make moves to make the O-line better, at least on the interior. And I do like Darnell Wright, but Braxton Jones, I still see him as a liability. I see him as an absolute liability. And given the fact that Caleb holds the ball for a very, very long time, which again, not blaming him for that, right. As a rookie, he should get better, but that is still a part of his game. He's going to get his ass kicked a lot. He's going to get his ass handed to him. He's going to get guys in his lap.
Where I will give the Bears credit is that from what I watched, he does seem to have way more of an issue with internal pressure. He tends to kind of be okay. He seems to have a better internal clock and sense of where the edges are coming from. First, I see that internal rush coming. He just panics and bails. And now that should be a little bit tempered this year with the moves they made. I thought they made some really good
smart.
Moves. He's definitely got just let me play guard. Don't let him play tackle. You know what I mean?
He does have a feel for the game. It's just that sometimes it just completely goes out the window, his feel for the game. And I don't know. It's it just comes and goes.
He can get rattled. But you know what? Any rookie can. This thing that rookies don't get rattled. It's
yeah, that's it's bullshit. And it sucks when Jaden Daniels, who's one pick after you, just goes and has a monster season.
Right. Yeah. And that happens in sport all the time, right? It happens constantly.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I hope Jaden Daniels sucks. I hope Jaden Daniels sucks ass.
Listen, anything I
don't want to see him do well. People are like, I want to see him do well. I'm rooting for the kid. No, fuck that. I want to see him fail.
This happens all the time, right? Goff and Wentz. Goff has gone on to have inarguably a far superior career to Wentz, but a year or two into their careers, it was clear and far and away that Wentz was the better player. Mariota and Jameis.
An MVP.
Right. Mariota and Jameis. Mariota led the Tennessee to the playoffs in the first couple of years. And Jameis has ended up having the better career. This happens all the time.
Can we talk about this Trey Hendrickson thing?
I actually think it makes sense. Generally, I don't like teams making trades to shore up positions if I don't think it makes your team that much better. So when the Giants traded for Brian Burns, I was like, wait, you're trading and paying an edge rusher in your prime, but we all know you're not going to be competing for the next 3 years. I don't get this. The Bears, if they got a good defense, could hypothetically be a playoff. I think they have the talent on paper to be a playoff team. Their talent on paper on offense is a arguable top 10 offense. The defense, it's not anywhere close to that, I don't think.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
I had to do it.
I know.
I had to do it.
I know. As soon as I said it, I went, oh, God damn it. I knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming.
But genuinely, you look at this offense and you go, okay, Rome is a genuine certified WR1. You've got some really solid tight ends, some great supporting pieces. The offensive line. Now, the question is going to be, you add in, I think, they have 3 new starting linemen, all on the interior, and all of them coming from kind of different systems. What they ran in LA was different than what it was in Detroit, than what it was in Atlanta.
One thing I will say about that, particular about the system piece, Joe Thuney just comes from winning.
Right. Joe Thuney is just a straight up winner.
Yeah. Like Thuney, whatever, however you fucking say it.
It's too
like I'm going to tell you the 3 most underrated moves the Bears made this offseason. The 3 things that are keeping me alive. Number 1, Joe Thuney, not just because he's really good, but because he comes from not 1 but 2 winning dynasties, Patriots and the Chiefs. Just a great player. He knows how to win.
Have in the locker room. Great.
He knows what a winning locker room looks like. It's very helpful. Number 2, our running backs coach is Eric Bieniemy, who was widely considered a great head coach.
It's a great position coach to have.
That's
a luxury. It's a
luxury position coach to have. It's someone who's going to help out a lot in just so many different ways.
Yeah.
Again, if not for this year, then for the future. And then the 3rd is I really love Luther.
Yeah, I love him. I thought he was so good coming out. I thought it was a first round pick. I'm
telling you right now, the Bears are putting together a team that is going to be so much fun to play with in Madden.
So I have been accused by some of my Mizzou fan friends of hating on Mizzou players. It's not true. It just so happens that there have been several guys who have come out of Mizzou that pre-draft I just did not like as much as other pundits. I wasn't a Membo guy. I wasn't a fan of the corner from last year. Luther Burden, I'm this guy's incredible. He's going to be the best. He's the next Cooper Kupp. He's JSN. I cannot say enough good things about Luther Burden. I think he's so talented. Was it a luxury pick? Absolutely. Him in the 2nd round, given all the holes in the roster and all, it is absolutely a luxury pick. But there's going to be times when you're going to go, God, I'm glad he made that pick. That's such a nice luxury to have.
Maybe he'd be Cooper Kupp. With Sean McVay, but can he be Cooper Kupp in Chicago, or will it be more like Anthony Miller? That's the thing.
No,
receivers go to die here.
You're going to get much closer.
The only receiver that we drafted the only receiver that we've drafted recently who's ended up having a good career is Darnell Mooney.
True, and he's had his best season outside of Chicago. But no, yes. I think Luther's really talented. I think we see it all the time in the draft. Guys have really, really big seasons. They come back for one more year. They have half their production, and then they drop a round and a half. And I always kind of go, well, did that player become a round and a half less good in this last year, or did their production just go down? I put on his tape from 2 years ago. I put on his tape from last year. I see the exact same player running the exact same route, catching the ball at the exact same thing. He was a little bit banged up this year, and he maybe wasn't quite as fluid. But I still looked at it and went, that's a first-round receiver. That's a first-round receiver to me.
Yeah,
if I'm a Bears fan, I would rather have him than Marcus Golden.
No, I'm very happy with the pick. I watched a lot of his highlights. I mean, look, highlights are highlights, but I think you put him next to Odunze with DJ Moore. That's an offense.
I love Keith's comp for Terry McLaurin. That's a really, really good comp because he can do it all. Line up inside, outside, good with the ball in his hands.
I mean,
good that doesn't quite have the deep speed of a Scary Terry. He's more of an underneath threat, but you see him get the ball in his hands, and you see he has the vision. You go, oh, this guy.
I'm telling you,
gets it.
Run those mesh routes with him in Rome. That's pretty good.
I'm telling you. And then you can flash what's his name? Tight end. You can flash tight ends.
Loveland.
Right. Then you can flash Loveland and you've got 2 starting caliber tight ends that you can flash the middle of the field. So again, yes, it is a luxury, but at a certain point, not to make it about the Eagles, I think they kind of looked at the Eagles and went, they make it so you can't guard everybody. Let's just do the same thing. You're going to go at some point, one of Rome, your fancy new Loveland, or DJ get a one-on-one, or Luther. You can't guard all of them. Yeah, someone's getting a one-on-one every single play.
And it's up to Caleb to find him. It's up to Caleb to find. I want
And
to
he
address
will.
some of
I have every confidence he will.
Keith's comments. Coaches get 3 to 4 years. Everyone expects Johnson to flip the team a year. He's going to bring in his own players. You give Eberflus, Trestman, et cetera, 4 years, but Johnson 1 year. Look, I'm giving Johnson 4 or 5 years, whatever. Like
It's
he's
the
our guy.
national media and
I'm still going to be annoyed when we lose a bunch of games this year.
It's also
right?
that he is being hyped, and I'm just calling it what it is, by Chicago media and Chicago fans is, we did it. We got the coach. We finally got our guy. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so I think the pressure to like compete right away might be a little bit more internal from the fan base than external from national media. You know what I mean? I think most rational, unattached people look at the Bears and go, that's probably like a 6, the way you put it, like a 6-11 team. And then I think it's Bears fans going, no, because we have Ben Johnson. He's with 4 wins. Oh, Ben Johnson's with 4 wins. Okay, I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Look, there's always a worst to first team, and I could see the Bears being
every year. Yep.
I could see it. I
think every other team in the NFC, I think every other team in the North got worse.
How did the Packers get worse?
I just look at the I didn't like their draft. I know I'm crazy. I don't like Marcus Golden. I didn't like Savion Williams. They took a lineman. I think Miles Frazier like a lot, but I don't see how they looked at the issues they had last year, look at their team this year and go, we solved our issues by cutting Jair Alexander, having Bo Melton playing corner during training camp. We solved our problem.
I'm so happy Jair's gone. Oh my God.
We got we drafted a receiver in round 1 who's kind of a one-trick pony and is a speed threat, but like you also need the guy to develop and be in one right away.
I think he's gonna peak at Mike Wallace.
Oh, I actually don't mind that cop. I think he can do more.
And Mike Wallace, by the way, had a good career. Like
he did. No, Mike was sort of a pure burner. I think he can do more with the ball in his hands and be like a design screen guy. I just wasn't on high as him. And I think again, I didn't think their issues were offensively. I don't think the issues for the Packers solving their wide receiver 1 problem was once again drafting a guy. I thought it would be paying for a guy or trading for a guy who's already had 1,000-yard season, not asking a rookie to have another one. And then Detroit was unbelievably hurt last year. They had terrible injury luck.
Oh yeah, no, their defense. They weren't starting anyone in the playoffs on defense.
Literally nobody. And like, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos of Aiden Hutchinson, but like, it's not great. He does not look like you know when like a team posts a video of a player's workout and you kind of go, I don't know if I would have posted that if I was in charge of social media. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
He's had a couple. He's running full speed. And you're like, that's his full speed.
No. What are you comparing that to? I heard the second part of the simile.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I remember like there are always times when like players, it's more with athletes themselves as opposed to teams, but they'll post like an athlete doing a workout and they'd be like putting in the work, and you're like, I maybe wouldn't have posted that. I maybe wouldn't have shown that work getting put in. That work because
no, there's definitely there's some stuff that Ben Johnson's already said that make me like.
I said, yes. Okay, I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to, but we texted about it a couple weeks ago. There's been a couple of things that have come off very, very Matt Patricia in Detroit to me. I'm so smart. Particularly,
I wouldn't take it that far because, first of all, Matt Patricia was a spy. All right, he was a spy for Belichick. Okay, he was sent to go just like Josh McDaniels was when he went to coach the Broncos the first time. He was a spy. Okay, he was a spy for Belichick to try to get some talent, get some intel, whatever. That's my conspiracy. But from an actuality standpoint, I think that that Patricia was he was calling out reporters for not sitting up straight. He was doing
he was being a jerk, and Ben Johnson's had a little bit of that so far with some of the reporters.
Better. What?
I think I saw. I don't know if it was Ben Johnson. I think it was where it's oh, is everybody here? He's like, yeah. Did you see anybody missing? No, and they're here. And it's oh, I've seen a couple of they're just doing their jobs, which you can kind of get away with that a little bit more later. It's tough early, and it was Chicago, which I think I would argue Chicago is actually a generally pretty forgiving media market compared to LA, New York, some of the other ones. But you're already going to wear out your welcome with them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just we haven't even played a game yet. But
there was a clip. I can't remember what the clip was, but I sent you a clip, and I said, "Am I crazy, or do you not love this?" And you said, "No, I don't love this either." I don't remember what it was.
I think it was when he was talking about I think he was saying something about Luther.
Right, yeah, he was like yelling at Lee. Yeah, he was doing the whole like, well, we want guys on the field who are competing, and if you're in the training room, you can't be out here practicing with your brothers. And it's like, this isn't high school football. We're professionals. We're getting paid to be here.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Exactly. Like, that stuff just doesn't work in the NFL.
We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna throw the ball.
Not the best, but it just
rubbed me the wrong way. Two backups in the back. Just snickering, just like
exactly. There's the 8-year veteran in the back, kind of rolling his eyes, going, "Okay, I've had 5 head coaches now. Go ahead." Like, you know what I mean?
It's how you lose the locker room. Let's see more of Keith's takes here. By the way, Keith, shout out to you, man. I appreciate you contributing on the show. Moore had the worst separation rate out of the Bears receivers last year, and Rome was top 25.
Yeah,
I don't really know how
Rome had a way better. The analytics loved Rome way more than his stats did.
True, but also
his route separation, like his contested catch rate.
There's some justification there because, like on the highlight, like on the replays, they'd often show Rome getting open and Caleb just not looking his way. There's certainly merit there. By the way, shout out to Rome because I just moved to Las Vegas and my fiance moved with me to Las Vegas, and she has a job working in Las Vegas. And one of her coworkers is the mother of Rome Odunze. So I have a new claim to fame, and hopefully I have Bears-Raiders tickets. But probably not because
we gotta get you a Bears-Raiders split jersey, like one of those split jerseys that moms wear. You know what I mean?
Oh, I would never. I'm going to root for the Bears at the game. Look, I work with the Raiders. I don't work for the Raiders.
There it is. That's a good way.
They're my partners. They're business partner. But I want the Bears to win when we play them. Yeah. I want the Raiders to go 16-1 with their one loss being to the mighty Chicago Bears, who win 17 games. What's up? Oh, we got Frank. What up, Frank? Who the fuck is this guy? He said, welcome back, 2% milk. Yep, that's me. I'm 2% milk.
I like that.
If I drank, how much do I weigh? Like 175 maybe? Something like that. If I drank like 5 pounds of milk, would I become 2% milk? Something like that. I can't really do the math, but
not a math major, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a math guy. Let's see. Rome.
If you're a 2% milk, I'm
like Allen's veteran wants and needs. I don't think that's true. Allen's a professional.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I think if anything, Allen probably helped him because iron sharpens iron. He will end up as a top 15 wide receiver next year. I like the way you think, Keith. I hope you're right.
There's a lot of really good NFL receivers. It's like a really talented position right now.
Yes, look. I mean, the Eagles have 2. 3
if we went down the list of every NFL,
if you include Johnny Wilson. No, I'm kidding. But I just wanted to give you a Johnny Wilson shout out.
Big Johnny. No, I think he's got like the body and talent.
Look, just NFC. There's CeeDee Lamb. There's Scary Terry.
Pickens is now there. Like just in the East, you already got now. Pickens,
I mean, look, he's better. He's better than anyone on the Giants.
Ooh, no, I would take you take Neighbors over him.
I'm sorry, yeah. Neighbors.
After last year, you take Neighbors. Yeah,
I forgot Neighbors was there. Look, I think you could be on Neighbors level eventually. But
no, absolutely. Like they pre-draft, a lot of people had like Rome and him kind of together.
People had Rome. His NFL.com comp was Larry Fitzgerald, which is very exciting. But look, I mean, you'd probably take Neighbors over him. You'd probably take look at the West. Marvin Harrison Jr., the guy that Frank's got a tramp stamp for is he'll be great. Don't get me wrong.
He's gonna be incredible in a multi-time Pro Bowl. Like it's not a question.
Yeah. There's no question about that. You got I don't know. Would you still take Debo?
No. Well, Debo's not on the West anymore. He's in the East.
Right. But would you still take him over?
No, I wouldn't take Debo. I wouldn't take Ayuk. I would take Puka.
Oh, I take Puka over.
I'm probably I would take JSN over Rome.
Oh, I'm here. Remember when? Can you hear me, Noah?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, good. Remember when the Rams took the Rams put up a real fight against you guys?
That was a very fun game and a very not fun game.
It was a fun game to rewatch.
Yes, I was
I'm watching it with Oren, and we're freaking out, man. I'm not even, I'm not even an Eagles fan, but I wanted to win that one. Damn,
It's just one of those where you end up counting every
right.
play, every missed extra point. You end up counting, and you do the math in your head.
Hey, Team Kuma Logan Jiu-Jitsu Ninja says, "Why is your hat so small? Is it you or do you have a giant
Yes.
head?"
The answer is yes to
Logan?
both.
I don't know you. I don't even fucking know you, Logan. You probably have a really small head, and you're projecting your insecurities onto me.
Yeah,
but also, you're right. I do have a very large head, so that's fair. Anyway, but Rome is. Look, I could definitely see Rome taking that next step. I hope he does. I'd love to see him as a top 15 wide receiver. I don't even know if he's the top 1 receiver on the Bears. I mean, because DJ Moore is still really, really good. I mean, I take him. I still think the Packers just have guys.
Packers are all guys, man, and a lot of them kind of do the same thing. I'm also not a Savion Williams guy at all. Like I just didn't. There are certain guys every year that everyone hypes up and you just don't get it. I didn't get it with Savion. I'm like, everyone's telling me he's Cordero Patterson, and I'm like, maybe the bad one who didn't really do anything before he ended up being good, kind of, sort of, maybe, yeah. But like, I just don't see specialness with the Packers, and like Packers defense,
so his own thing,
yeah.
Like he's
not fine, but like, is there anything we're like getting really excited over? Not really.
He's a unique player in that, like, Cordero Patterson, like he kind of is a positionless guy. Like, he'll do kick returns. He's the best kick returner, not the best punt returner, the best kick returner we've probably seen. Like along with Hester, of course.
Kobe.
And I don't know. I just don't think there's ever going to be anyone quite like.
No,
Patterson.
Sure, but it just I don't think Savion is that good. I don't think it's that much of a needle mover. And like, again, the Packers are throwing out receivers to play corner just because oh, hey, your brother plays corner in Arizona, right? Why don't we try you with that? Like, it's like that's not how that works.
That's really funny. Also, they traded. Was it last year that they traded Russell Douglas?
Yeah, they traded Douglas away to Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like
he's still a free agent.
I feel like
he's still a free agent. I could see them going and getting him.
I feel like the Packers front office still doesn't quite know what they're doing.
It's really
all the time. Like, they do and they don't. They do and they don't.
Genuinely, and this is kind of like my outside perspective as someone who's not in the NFC North. It's like ever since they won the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, they've tried to like be like, how can we be as competitive as possible, but like as minimally, as cheaply, as with the least amount of invested resources possible. Where it's like every year I'm like, but you didn't do this, but you didn't get this, you still haven't blanked. And it's like, you have cap space, you have draft capital. I know you can do this, and you just
Can you synthesize the point you just made, because we kind of cut out?
The long and short of it is the Packers seem to want to get the most bang for their buck of like any team I've seen since they won a Super Bowl. You would think winning that would make them be like hungrier to spend money and make big trades. And it's more like kind of went, okay, we got our one. Now let's play everything close to the vest. And it's been odd for me to watch for the last 15 years.
And I got to say, for the last 15 years, it's been awesome because I've won 15 straight Super Bowls, because every time the Packers get eliminated, that's a Super Bowl for me.
And every year they're in the playoffs, they're not going to get. They're getting a draft pick that's low in the first round. And like a lot of their first round picks kind of haven't turned out.
Dude, my favorite drafts. My two favorite games from this year, this like calendar year. Well, my three are obviously when the Bears beat the Packers at the end of the season. That was. I still watch those highlights. That was the happiest moment of my life. Then when the Eagles beat the Packers in the playoffs, that was awesome. Now Josh Jacobs had a really great run that game. And that was their one highlight.
That highlight.
Remember Dallas Goedert just like making that one guy his bitch?
Yeah, I was going through my once again watching the run of Super Bowl, and that Goddard play, the sound of him just trucking into him is such a beautiful. There's certain football
Did they make
sounds.
his burner account yet? I mean, not his burner account. I was reading the line. Did they make the America's game yet? The documentary.
Oh, no, it is not out yet. I know you're referring to. No, it is not out yet.
Yeah, I've watched every America's game except the Packers.
No. But what they did do, the Eagles, it was kind of cool. They did like a behind the scenes of their draft from this year that was really cool. And they've done a bunch of like behind the scenes stuff this offseason. It's been really, really cool. And Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship started a podcast, which like I know I know we don't need another podcast. I know we don't need another one, but like it's still cool. Shut up. You know what I
Are
mean?
you kidding? That's perfect because they're white and they're defensive backs. Like I want to hear that
Great.
perspective. I want to hear that
No,
perspective.
I interesting because I was talking about this with a different Bears fan of mine. You can sort of see some parallels between Philly and the Bears, like I said, with the way they're.
Wait, pause, time out.
Yep.
I'm applauding for Keith because that's a great comment.
Correct take.
That's
Keith.
a great comment, Keith. I like
Correct
it.
take.
I agree. I completely agree. Let's keep that energy. Please keep that energy.
I love that.
Anyway,
But no, I was saying you can see the parallels between Chicago and Philadelphia on offense, trying to make sure that you can have someone open every single play, shoring up the offensive line. Now, the next step is I just don't know what maybe they think the defense is going to be, or if they're saying, listen, we are putting our effort and energy into offense. Look, the Eagles, quite literally, I believe, are number 1 in offensive spending and like 31st in defensive. And they won a Super Bowl. Like, it can work. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know if it's going to work right away.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think the key is, I think what worked so well is it really just comes down to how good that offensive line is. And, you add that to the fact that, Saquon Barkley's pretty good. Yeah, like that's what it comes down to. Like, it was all about the offensive line. That's why, and that's
really
why
curious what the Bears' backfield looks like this year, because I'm really curious how the snap breakdown, who's in when. It's such an interesting position group of like.
So you want to know what's going on with that is Bears fans are obsessed, absolutely obsessed with this guy from Hard Knocks who got injured named Ian Wheeler. And I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand that because he's literally just some guy. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's fine.
Because Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I mean, look, reality TV.
Yeah, that's the answer. Because Hard Knocks.
Reality TV is a joke, people. Like, come on. Like, give me a break on the Ian Wheeler shit. Yeah, he might be good. Like, he might end up being good. But, like, if I had to get, like, he'll probably peak at Isaiah Crowell because that's the average running back.
These are the same people that would have told you don't draft Caleb because we have Tyson Bagent. Like,
yes,
these people exist, unfortunately.
Yeah, like it's not even the same crowd as the don't draft Caleb because we have because we should have kept Justin Fields. No, this is like the
yeah, which is at least I can say you're wrong, but I can get how you got to your wrongness.
Which I still can't get to how you were wrong because all Justin Fields did is lose.
I can still get it because it eventually clicked for you. I could get because for 2.5-ish years you were a Justin guy, and eventually
because
the why is
I still operated under the pretense of look, we're like you got to give quarterbacks time,
sure, and eventually you got to your breaking point where you're like, never mind, there's too much data and evidence. Never mind, I can rationalize how there's just an infinite amount. Justin could have gone 0-16 with a 1-to-5 touchdown interception ratio, and there would have been people who still go, but I still think he's the guy. Like, I get how some people just don't like it. Anthony Richardson. I still fully believe Anthony Richardson's going to be like a really good quarterback.
Really?
I have no rational, logical, but I'm like, but he's 6'5" and runs a 4.4. You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean, but like I don't know. I've never even been a real big Richardson guy. I like Richardson because he's fun. Is that you being a Florida homer?
No, the exact opposite. Actually, I did not think he should have come out. I had wished to come back for another year, but I said if he reaches his physical peak, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. He just hasn't come anywhere close to his peak. But I'm still and I'm aware I am delusional in thinking he can still reach that peak. Justin fans just are not aware of the fact they are delusional.
Yeah, I think that's important. It's an important distinction to make because I think that you sometimes are unaware of my awareness of my own delusions.
Sure.
I think that's a fair thing to say because, like last year I was hyping up the Bears, but I was also like, look, I know it's delusional, but I think that we can be on the in the hunt graphic by December. We weren't, but we could have been if Tyreek Stevenson was paying attention. Like we could have been if Cairo Santos kicked the ball a little higher. Like there was something.
Are we still? By the way, are we like over this now, or are we just like? Are we like cool? Like Tyreek Stevenson is a good cornerback. I think he's a talented player. He's going to be a very big part of the defense. Are we good now? Can we just or are we still just gonna? Do we forever hate Tyreek Stevenson now? You know what I mean?
Okay, let me explain. We're good, but I mean he's got to play. He's got to play well.
Like I was cool with Bradbury after the whole.
I need to see him.
James, we're good.
I need to see him play really, really well. Of course, you forgive Bradbury. Y'all won a championship. You can forgive anyone.
No, I'm saying that next season, I'm no longer mad at Bradbury for the holding call. I'm like over it a year later. You know what I mean?
I don't blame. I would not.
It's not a perfect comp. I'm saying, are we like back to being rational and we can talk logically about Derek Stevenson, or just no, he's terrible and awful and I hate him? Is that what we're still at?
I'm different, but like I've never disliked Stevenson, but that one play did ruin a wedding that I was at. Ruined that whole experience for me. So like,
yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, like that was a rough day for sure. Like, I mean, no, I still had a fun time. I just went right to the margaritas and Becca and I had a great time. But I mean,
he's gonna be
like who does that? No, look. I'm never gonna get over that one play. I'm okay. Just not.
See, there, fine, totally fine. I just wanted you to say it. That's totally fine. That's the case.
I could forgive the player,
but not the play. Sure.
Hate the sin, love the sinner. That's what it is.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
I can never look. The other day,
I can get there with you.
But look. The other day, Pete Armstrong, and you know how I feel about Pete. You know how I feel about Pete. He forgot how many outs there were in a run scored. It was the deciding run in a game against the Cardinals. But it was one game against the Cardinals out of 162 regular season games. And it wasn't like he was, like pumping up the crowd or anything, on the last play of the game. It was just a brain fart. I can forgive that. Like I could forgive an occasional mental error.
Sure.
I could forgive a physical error. I could forgive, Caleb for fumbling. I could forgive a running back for fumbling. Unless he's like being stupid with the ball,
if he gets
like
mocked in the end zone,
unless he Deshaun Watson's it. I mean, no, unless he Deshaun Jackson's it, right, and drops it at the 1 yard line. Of course, yeah. In that case, of course, like I could forgive that. What I cannot forgive is pumping up the crowd while the last play of the game is
as the ball is being snapped.
Yeah, like he had to, and he's the one who tipped it. Like, no, I can't forgive that. Anyway, I did want to show a picture of the play that I was referencing.
Yes, the Goddard stiff arm. Oh,
I might get this frame.
It's so pretty, y'all.
I might get this frame.
It's so pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And the Eagles midnight arm, he trucks the guy because it was a blitz and it was an outside RPO. So I think it was Smitty blocking actually, and he got his block and it was 1-on-1, and he lowers the shoulder into him first. And it is out. The sound of it was so beautiful. It was and then just stiff arming him down the sideline.
1 sec. We have to have a debate real quick. Pause.
Oh, this is barely a debate.
What do you mean?
Respectfully. This is like how we're now pretending that Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady were near the same players. This is a thing happening now.
Okay, but look,
that's a nice T-Mac. T-Mac's it's a great T-Mac. This is some Kobe shit though. Like, come on.
Look, no, you have a great beard. I feel like Emily is a little more lenient about the length of that thing than Becca is.
Correct. She doesn't be a caveman for sure.
Yeah, she's cool with the caveman thing. Becca's like, no, you're cleaning that up. And by the way, I went to Byron at Sin City Cuts in Las Vegas.
Shout out Byron.
I'd love for them to buy an ad for the Raiders playbook. Or not playbook, the program. The playbook is crazy. Like, can you imagine? But yeah, Byron cut he shaved it really, really good, and that's why it's like it's clean cut. It's it's a good Byron. Look right now. See, look, I think we're comparing totally different things. Like Noah's got the Andrew Luck thing going on. I got the.
Oh, I disagree.
What?
I disagree because Andrew Luck, it was all like down in here. He didn't have it coming out. That was
Andrew Luck. You know what? That's fair. He kind of looked a little bit like
Andrew Luck. By his last year, he looked like he was done. Like I was like, why are we surprised he's retired? Have you seen this man? He had a foot out the door, y'all. He's done.
Yeah. And by the way, Leah, who is Frank's daughter, I believe, supports Noah's beard, obviously, which is fair. No, I concede. Noah's a very handsome man. I have a better nose, though.
Yeah, I'll give you the nose. I'll give you that one.
I have a better nose than everyone, though. Everyone loves my nose. I've been told I have. You know, I'm not going to go there. I want to talk about this a bit, real quick.
Rizzo,
Keep
yeah.
saying the best was Contreras,
yeah.
bitch ass crying, crowding the plate. He was the second most hit player besides Rizzo. Yeah, Contreras was being a little bitch, and he was whining, and crying.
I give him credit for then saying to me, I don't know. I saw a quote. I don't.
Oh yeah, no, he apologized, and I want to say,
okay, I did see a quote. I didn't know if he had actually said it or not. Okay.
No, he apologized. Like I think, like over the past few years of being in St. Louis, who gave him a lot of money that he earned by helping us win a championship and by being a really good catcher. Or, you know, some people disagree, but I think he was a good catcher. But he earned a lot of money. But I think over time, after being with St. Louis for a little bit, not that he realized that Chicago's better. I don't want to say that. But I think he realized that Chicago was really good in its own way and that he really appreciated what Chicago did for him. And I don't think he has anything truly ill to say about the Cubs. And I think he meant his apology. I really think he did. I think he's just he's kind of a sensitive little bitch when he plays like on the field. And I don't mind that. I kind of like it.
I would also say, to me, collisions at home plate have kind of always. It's like
that's not what this was. He got hit by a pitch.
Oh, yeah, hit by pitch rather. Yeah, both hit by pitch. So first of all, hit by pitches. I think if you're intentionally throwing a guy, you're throwing a first pitch fastball at their ribs. Breaking balls 3-1, 2. That's not when you throw. So whenever I see that, like he was throwing at him, I'm like he was throwing a 78 mile per hour slider 3-1.
Honestly,
no, he wasn't.
I like to think that most pitchers are cool enough to just throw it at the guy's butt.
Yeah, and they're not trying to hurt anybody. But I think in general, I think there are certain things in sport that, regardless of like impact, the intent almost matters more. So, like in football, if I think you tried to go for my knees, it doesn't really matter if you actually went for my knees. I think you went for my knees, and I'm gonna mess you up. Like in basketball, if I think you intentionally landed underneath me, we're fighting. Like there's certain stuff where it's like if I think it's intentional, doesn't matter. Hockey, if I think you intentionally high stick me, we're fighting. Certain stuff, the logic almost doesn't matter. If I think you threw at me, I'm mad. And you can say to me, dude, it was a 2-1 slide. I go, I don't care, you were throwing at me. Like I agree.
But like, I mean, I agree with that. But also, it's like in that game situation when there's a guy on second and you have a 3-run lead, and it's the bottom of the ninth. Really, any situation, anytime you have a 3-run lead and there's one guy on base, you're not throwing at anyone. You don't put the tying run at the plate intentionally. Never. And by the way, I do want to shout out Palencia, because he got himself into shit and he got himself right out of that shit by striking out the next 3 batters. Yep. He's awesome. He throws 101, 102, just like he's absolute gas, fun to watch. And it's like, look, if he walked Contreras, I would have had a problem with it. But if you miss up and in and hit the guy, I'm okay with that because that means he's pitching with balls, and I like. Right.
Also, this is still baseball. Like I know we changed a lot. It's still baseball. You still throw in up and in on guys that are good hitters to make them think about it and make them jump back.
Oh yeah.
I may not know a lot of baseball. I know you're throwing in and making them do this, and this is baseball. What do we do? This is baseball.
You know enough about baseball to understand like some of those little intricacies.
Which is what I love most about baseball, is the intricacies and the nuances.
Yeah. And that was just an absolutely awesome. By the way, I do want to say like that was an awesome game for the Cubs. Last night was a damper, but like after losing the first 2 to St. Louis, I was pretty down because like, especially losing like 8-7 and we almost had them, like it was a comeback, really tough game. I was pretty bummed about it, but then taking the last 2, salvaging the sweep. Salvaging the sweep by winning game 3 and then turning it into a split by winning game 4, shutting them out 2 games in a row.
To a split is such a different feeling.
Oh my God. Like winning the last 2 to make it a split feels so good.
Mesha said it was with the Phillies and they won in a 4-0 shutout after they got swept by the Braves and Rays. And you're like, holy crap, did we need a split? Like, because we talked about it, like they played, I think 6 of their next 7 series against like under 500 opponents. But you're like, ooh, like it's almost like in football, the difference between going into your bye at 4-3 and 3-4. There's such different feelings. Oh yeah,
for me, different. The difference between 5-2 and 4-3 is huge too.
Oh my God, so massive. Whereas like 6-1 or 5-2, I see almost no difference.
4-3 means we don't know who we are. 5-2 means we're gonna make the playoffs.
It means we're a good team, and like it, and like if we can figure some stuff out, we can be a really good one. Yeah, 100%.
That's why the Tarek Stevenson play pissed me off extra because
Valid.
look, we would have fallen apart. I
Now,
know.
here's why it has to be annoying.
What?
Here's why I have to be annoying.
Okay.
You're gonna hit me. You're gonna throw a water bottle across country.
No. Sometimes you say that, and then you say something that I agree with.
No game ever comes down to a single play. You
Correct.
cannot ever say that if we had made this one play, we would have won the game because you had 80 some odd plays for the game. If you force a turnover on a previous play, if you get a first down earlier in the game and run some more clock, like, there's a billion you can do. So that if we had made this one play, and I'll give you of all of those, the Hail Mary is the best one play argument. But I still go, you still had a whole game to play.
I understand all that.
It's so cliche and annoying. I know.
I fully understand all that, but it's like, I'm not talking about like I know the logic behind it. Like I know like there's reasons why you can't just put it all in one play. I'm purely talking like as a fan, like the emotional aspect of a Hail Mary sucks. And what's even worse than that is the thing that that really grinds my gears about it is because we had no business winning that game anyway. We found our like Dan Quinn made some horrible coaching decisions where he had a 4th and 1 in his own territory and he punted it away late in the game. Yes. Where I was like, why punt it away and give them the ball back and give them the chance to drive down the field when you could just get 1 yard? They're going to get the ball anyway, and they still need a touchdown. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand giving the ball away in certain situations where the other team needs a touchdown anyway.
Right.
Because
I agree.
I don't make them go the length of the field. I've never make them go the length of the field.
Especially when you're then going to sit there and cover 4 and just let them run up and down the field.
Exactly.
Drives me absolutely crazy.
Bill Belichick, do you remember the game where the Patriots were playing the Colts in 2009, I think? And I know exactly what game you're talking about. He went for it on 4th down. He didn't get it. Yeah, they were a football short of a first down. They were literally all football short. So here are the options. Either we punt it to Peyton Manning and he leads an 80-yard drive for a touchdown, or we get stopped here and he leads a 40-yard drive for a touchdown. Why is one worse than the other?
Every time, and I don't understand why these coaches just play soft shell and let them run. I remember I went to the Eagles-Cowboys game 2 years ago where the last play of the game, CeeDee Lamb caught it at the 4-yard line and they tackled him. I don't know if you remember that game, but they got the ball with 50 seconds, no timeouts, and had one complete. No, the Cowboys did.
Eagles-Cowboys?
Yeah, it was Eagles-Cowboys in Philly a couple years ago, and Eagles were up 6 or up 5 with 50 seconds left, and I was like, all right. If we could just make a tackle, get us do something, we're good to go. And it was 2 pass interferences and 2 catch and runs out of bounds later, and they were inside the 10. And I was like, I'm gonna watch them lose. Thank God we ended up holding on. But it drives me nuts when teams do, and I see it all the time. I'm like, why are we playing the soft shell when there's 2 minutes left? I just keep everything in front of you, and yet that doesn't work when you're watching the guy in front of you run away from you. Keep the guy in front of you does not work when the guy you're watching just runs away from you. It doesn't work anymore.
No, I completely agree with this. And maybe this is I don't know. I feel like this is Madden logic. This is logic I've gained from playing Madden, but it's true. The clock management stuff, Madden, obviously, the players can't do a lot of the things. You can't make 180 jumping interceptions or whatever. You can't do the routes don't really look quite like that. It's not, real life isn't computer generated. However, the clock management logic side of Madden is absolutely applicable to football. And that, that's why I like one of the Nick Wright takes that I like is before hiring a head coach, make him play a game of Madden.
I actually love that. It's actually a great take.
I think that's so great.
How are you play calling? What are you doing? Are you just spamming the same play over and over?
And I gotta say, by the way, and I will credit myself for I was pretty rational after this game because I had already given up on the season. The Thanksgiving game, best thing that's ever happened to the Bears. Because that was us on a global scale. That was us being the spotlight game watched by everyone. Everyone was watching the game. Everyone saw just what we were dealing with. They had to fire the coach after that, and I think that is what
they didn't have a choice. They could not bring him back after that.
Right. No, they absolutely couldn't. And I think that's what eventually spiraled into we weren't going to win any more games except the one Green Bay game at the end of the year. And that led to us getting, by the way, Colston Loveland, who I want to talk about this with you, Noah. I kind of like him.
Yeah. He's a really good prospect. Yeah, totally.
I think he'll be good. I don't know. Like,
no, I think he will be.
I usually good about tight ends.
Everyone talked about how Warren was a better tight end, and it's like, yeah, I would say Tyler Warren is a better traditional tight end. Colston Loveland is a great athlete who is really special, and every year there are guys who go 10, 15 picks sooner than we think we're going to, and we go, whoa. And then post up here, oh, well, like, actually, this guy was rising and teams were really in on him, blah. This year, it really was Golden. That was the name, like, as we got closer to the draft, him and Marcus Golden. Those are the two names that sort of were rising the fastest. So I don't blame them for going out and getting their guy, particularly when you look at what was available and, like, when they took him. Personally, I would have preferred had they gone after an edge rusher, but if they didn't like the edges on the board, the tackles were gone.
Wait, no, that's not true. I'm calling you out on that. You didn't want us to get an edge rusher. You wanted us to get interior defensive line.
No, I get what you're saying. Interior defensive line was more of a priority to me because in my head, Bears fans, not you, Bears fans were not properly addressing the interior need because they had convinced themselves that Gervon Dexter was going to be a Pro Bowler and then we no longer needed linemen. What I had said was there is no interior lineman worth taking at 10. If you can move back and grab like a Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, that'd be great. If you're not going to do that, grab a James Pierce. Apparently Jalen Walker being on the board. Passing on Walker was tough. But again, Loveland's a really great piece and he opens up the offense a lot. I also think everyone talks about, we already have a tight end, but
I like running 12.
I love running 12. I love running 12. And you never want to say we're not going to take the guy that we think is talented because we already have a guy who's talented.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. We're not going to trade for AJ Brown.
You don't want to double up. Like, you don't want to double up. Look, y'all drafted 2 corners last year, and they're both really good.
AJ after drafting Devontae. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, it's good to double up on. Just get as many good guys as possible. By the way, you asked about the running back, which was interesting, and I talked a little bit about Ian Wheeler. And I don't want to sound like I'm hating on Ian Wheeler because look, he could be good, he could be fine, but I just don't think he's going to be anything special. But it's hard to be special in the NFL, right? He's better than I'll ever be, I'll tell you that. But I want to talk about. I think what they're going to do a little bit of is I think they're going to use DJ Moore a little bit like a Debo.
Like a Devo's? It's interesting.
A little bit. Because they showed a little bit of that last year, and it was kind of effective. He's big. He's bouncy.
Does he have that size? In my head, he's like 195, 200. Is he bigger than I'm thinking?
I think I'm going to look it up real quick to know.
Because Debo is a legitimate like 220, 225.
Yeah, DJ Moore is 210.
Okay. You know what? He's thicker than
okay. You could do like some third down back.
You can gadget him 5 plays a game for sure. Now, the thing is, here's the question.
He's bouncy too.
But here's the question: will he do that? Because we have seen that NFL players who play receiver do not like suddenly being asked to play running back, but they get freaked out about their value and stuff.
Well, this is where hiring Ben Johnson is it good or is it not? If he could get DJ to buy into, hey, you're going to run the ball 4 or 5 times a game, like we're going to do some. I'd love to see them run some draws to him. I think that'd be kind of interesting. And also, like, it would be cool to have a package in Madden.
Motion orbit screen stuff.
Stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, also like high percentage completion type things.
I'm also still a Roschon Johnson guy. I still think he's a really talented
guy. I love Roschon. Roschon's, he's my kind of running back. I
feel like every time he gets in the field, he gets 4 or 5 yards every run, and then he's immediately gets taken out. And I'm like, leave him in. Let him play.
No, I completely agree. I've always, he's one of those guys. He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear because he was backing up Bijan Robinson in Texas.
Yeah.
And he. He's just a physical machine. Like he's just a physicality guy. Like I like that kind of running back. I also like Keith's point that if there's a Bears receiver that's going to be put the ball in his hands, gadget play guy, it's actually going to be Luther. Well, yeah, I think Luther is going to get a lot of the reverses. A lot of the bubble
like a tunnel
screens.
screen. Now that's fair. A lot of Luther's production did come at and behind the line of scrimmage last year. A lot of it did. It's a fair criticism.
That's a true point. That's a true point. I'm just saying based on what I've seen with DJ Moore, like because I know he had some carries.
He has the ability to get the ball in his hands and be a playmaker.
It's a good, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Chicago, and that's a good thing. Like there's a lot of weapons. It's just, are we going to have time to play?
I'm also so curious to see how, because we saw with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery both, how the short passing game becomes an extension of the running game, which is very difficult to actually like get that balance down. It seems easy, but it's really not. I'm really curious because most of the Bears running backs are at least decent pass catchers as well. Swift can catch the ball. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And yeah, I mean, Swift is his own thing too. And I like Swift.
Believe me, I get it. But I watched him for a year. I get it.
Well, look, I like Swift. I think Swift, believe it or not, my problem with Swift is like, it seems like he's trying to run like a physical back, and he shouldn't be doing that.
Sure. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
He turns 0-yard runs into 5-yard runs and 5-yard runs into 0-yard runs.
Think about this for a second. Like, okay, so I watched a lot. Obviously, like I loved Tariq Cohen while he was here. He was awesome. And he was an X factor in his own way, like the way he changed, like the way he caused mismatches and stuff. But like once he kind of like got hurt a little bit, he started doing a little more side to side stuff, avoiding contact and whatnot. And I didn't like it so much because it strikes you as cowardly. Although he's a professional football player running around at 5'6". I can't get mad at that.
Right.
What I did not like, and I'm not saying he's a coward, by the way. I just want to be clear on that, like because he was a hell of a player. But like with Swift, it's like he's trying to be this physical guy, and he's not. Like, no, be that annoying running back who, tries to avoid contact. Like, treat it like you're allergic to other guys touching you. Like, that's how I want him to run the ball. I don't want him to embrace physicality because he's not a physical player. I want him to get in quickness battles. I want him to be finesse. I want him to get in quickness battles. And if we need to change it up, then you could put on Roschon, and Roschon will run over you. But it felt like too many times he was running right into people, and he just couldn't out physical them. But what he does really well is he runs around people, he jumps over people, he slides under people. Like, he's good. Like he's good at that kind of thing. And I want to see more of that from DeAndre.
He also has stayed healthy and has good availability. He can give him a lot of touches. Like he's a very valuable style of player. It's just a very low ceiling guy at the same time.
Yeah, he fits a prototype, and I do think that he's just another weapon that the Bears are going to get. Like the Bears can get a lot out of.
They drafted a running back too, like late on day 3, right?
Yeah, we got a Rutgers guy. Yeah. I can't remember his name. I'm going to look it up real quick just because I want to.
No, I remember talking about someone. I watched very, very little of him.
Let me see if I could find him.
Because the Rutgers had an offensive lineman who was like 6'8", 340, and there's some highlights of him running behind him, and they were fun to watch.
Yeah. I think it was let's find him real quick. Oh, Kyle Managa. Managan guy, yeah. Great, fine. Like, just if he's anything like Pacheco, then that's cool. Pacheco's a good running back. What?
No, I just it's funny. I'm thinking back. Rutgers. I'm thinking Rutgers football players are now relevant again. What a world we live in.
Yeah, for real. So we got fun little nugget here from Keith Sperry that Burton and Williams.
Yeah, Luther and Jameson went to the same high school. Yeah,
that's cool. That'll be brought up every broadcast like 6 times. Hey, guys, did you know that Jay Cutler and Earl Bennett were Vanderbilt teammates?
Whoa.
Because the announcers will tell you. Oh, they'll tell you all right.
That's great.
But yeah. So Noah, how are the Bears going to do this season? What's going to be our record? 6-11?
So I looked at the schedule. We went through the schedule. It's actually a decently good schedule. And like you said, every year it's a decently good non-conference schedule. There's like a middle 6 weeks of the season. That's a rough 6-week run, but it's like their only rough run of the season, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like every other month I go, I can see three wins here. Yeah, I can see it. You know what I mean? I think that we're
playing. I think we could beat the Raiders, the Saints, and the Cowboys.
Absolutely. I would call all of those wins. Cowboys, I think aren't going to be as bad as everybody's taking it out to me. I think Cowboys are still going to be. I think they're still like 500.
Yeah, maybe. But in Chicago,
I think Chicago. Look, I think the talent is here. I think that we're going to have some really exciting games, exciting moments. I just don't see a great football team in Chicago.
Agreed. Agreed.
I don't think the offense and defense are structured particularly well with each other. I think the offense is going to kind of put the defense in bad situations sometimes.
They're going to take a minute to mesh.
Yeah, and which is fine, as they should. I would say the absolute floor is 4 wins. Absolute floor.
Yeah, I agree.
If things go really, even if things are terrible, you won't be bad enough to be like the worst team in football. You're just not bad enough to be bad. You're just not.
Yeah, we won't be the worst team. That's for
things
sure.
go great and everything works. Caleb takes the leap, and Rome has a 1,000-yard season, and Sweat's a double-edged digit sack guy. I think we're looking at a 10-win team. I think this could be a 10-win team, truly.
Really?
I look at the schedule, whatever. I think realistically, you end up, if you put a gun to my head, I think they end up much closer to 4 than they do 10. And so I think 6 is a fair number. I think 6 is obviously right in between it. I think it's more likely they get 4 than 10, and they settle in around 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's why
But I do project on the low end. I could say as much as 10. I think it'll be on the low end.
I'm a stick with the 6. I like,
which is a fair number. Which now, to be clear, so no one's saying that I'm a homer or whatever. I also think the Eagles are regressing and are going to win less games this year. So like I'm just looking.
Well,
at,
y'all will make the playoffs. I don't think that.
We're playing a tough schedule. We lost a little on defense. We'll take a step back. I look at the Bears and I go, well, they didn't really do much on defense, but and then they get a new coach and blah blah blah.
So what'll happen if we do what Keith suggests and we do trade for Trey Hendrickson? You think that's a good move?
I think that actually, like, genuinely is a really big change for the defense because you already have some solid linebackers, already have solid DBs.
Yes, I love our linebackers. I love our linebackers.
I love them. I think I don't love Edmonds as much as others do, but I like Edwards more than others do.
So, I love Edwards.
I love the kid they took last year, Sanborn.
Sanborn, is he still? I thought we got rid of Sanborn. I don't know.
Oh, coming out, they took a kid last year whose tape I loved coming out. I think it was Sanborn. I could be wrong.
No,
I know the Bears took a linebacker I like.
Cowboys, but we do. I know who you're talking about. We had another guy who was. Why am I blanking?
Okay, if he's flamed out, then he's flamed out. I remember they took a linebacker that I liked a lot.
You're right. I'm trying to remember who it was because
it wasn't Patrick Wilson because he ended up going to the Steelers.
Keith, if you're still around, you could let us know. But I'm trying to remember because there was a linebacker that I did like.
There was a guy on day 3, and I was like, oh, I'm a big fan of this guy.
I mean, was it Noah Sewell?
Yes, it was Noah Sewell out of Oregon. Yeah, Noah Sewell out of Oregon.
Panay's brother. Panay's
brother. Yeah. Who Noah also played. I remember Noah also played running back at Oregon, and I thought, oh, he's an incredible athlete. He's gonna be that sideline cover guy, and it just didn't pan out.
Right.
But I think they could be a good team. I just think they're still a year or maybe even 2 years away.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And I'm hoping it's just a year. But, I do think, I'd like to see some improvement this year. I'd like to beat Green Bay this year. I'd like to see, this year I'm not going for the number 1 pick.
Right.
I'm going for a mid-round pick, and I'm going for being in the playoff hunt by December.
Right. Normally we are the either I want to be in the playoffs or I want the first overall pick. That's sort of like where we get to. This is year, no. I want to be middle of the pack and see.
I want to be in the hunt in the hunt graphic by December. Not
which I think the Bears being in the hunt in December this year is so much more of a fair. I don't want to use the word expectation. A fair projection than it was at this time last year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it was fair to say because we were 7-10. It was fair to say, oh, we could get a little better. But evidently that fell through once the fucking Washington game happened, and then everything else just snowballed from there. But yeah, I mean, I still think at the end of the day they're going to be better this year than they were last year because the coaching is probably better. We have upgraded in other places, but it's still the Bears, and I just don't see it translating to wins right away. And I just have to stay patient. With them. And really the big thing is, can number 18 play well?
Right. That's what it really comes down to this year. It's all about 18. It's really,
I've read good things about him in training camp. Hopefully those are true.
Right. Again, we said here it's June 28th. We don't have pads on. We're not hitting. We're not whatever. But We're doing OTAs. We're doing our mini camps. We do have things to go off of. Not a lot,
Yes.
but we have stuff to go off. I remember this time last year, the big thing coming out of Philadelphia was how accurate Jalen Hurts was. Everyone was talking about the fact that no balls hit the ground with Jalen, and he looked incredible and amazing, and his ball wasn't. And then came to be, he did had some really good ball placement this year, particularly on his deep.
Oh yeah. No, like sometimes it's true.
So we can make fun of people there's a battle for the second cornerback job in Philadelphia right now. It's going to be either Keely Ringo, who some of y'all might remember, he played at Georgia, had the game-winning interception in the championship, or Adoree Jackson, who's a long-term vet. And it's like, we're here in June, and the early reports are Keely looks better. It's not the biggest deal, but these things matter.
Yes. No, it does. And, I just I'm ready for the preseason, so we could all get so crazy excited about the preseason, which I never take seriously at all, by the way. I like some of the plays and then I move on. But yeah, I'm just glad that the Cubs are good right now to tide me over until football season. Although, I mean, it would be cool if they could both be good at the same time. What a concept.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
That'd be crazy. Anyway, no, it's been great. This is,
always.
I'm glad to be back. Easy does it back again. We're going to start with, I believe, every other Saturday, and I'll probably have Noah on quite frequently. And I'll leave you with this. Football.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network